Greetings. I need a drain cam. I need to shove a camera up one of the drains out the back of the house. But the trouble is they're quite expensive to hire. I mean, they start at about £50 just to hire one for 24 hours. So I've decided to make one. So I thought I'd show you what you need. Well, to start with, you need a set of drain rods. These are the ones I bought years ago. The cheapest I've seen them at the moment online is about £13.50 plus postage from eBay. And that'll get you a 10 rod set with one of these screws and one of these plunger ends as well. I can't remember how much this one cost me, it was way more than that, but rods are rods. The other thing you need, of course, is a camera. I found these ones on eBay, which were £13.57, free postage and packing from Hong Kong. And that was for a 7-metre one. The shorter ones are slightly cheaper, the longer ones are, well, obviously slightly dearer. So I went for a 7-metre because that's pretty much all I need. And here it is. It's a USB connector on the one end. Interestingly, the USB logo is on the bottom of this connector, normally they're on the top. There's a dimmer adjustment here for the LEDs, which are in the camera head. And if I just plug that in a second, there we go. You can adjust it from being off all the way up to full brightness. The picture on this camera isn't brilliant if you just point it around the room. It's quite blurry, but that's because this is designed for very close focus. When you're using it as a bow scope, it's going to be right in there and you want it to focus on things which are very close. And it is pretty good at that. It seems to focus from about there away. So it's quite good. It comes with this small CD-ROM of drivers as well. I haven't checked to see what's on here. If I put these in a MacBook, the slot loading driver will just devour it and I'll have to take the driver apart to get it out. However, there is an application for the Mac called Quickier, which you can download from the App Store, and if you install that, it'll just record quite happily off this camera, as you'll see in a moment, and it's free. So what you need to do is you take this and you screw it into one end of one of the rods, like so, and then take the camera and mount it in place in the thread, something like that. Now you don't have to worry about losing the camera down the pipe, because if that comes off you can just drag the camera back by its own cable. So I think the best thing to hold that on with is just a bit of sellotape. Simple as that. As this gets pushed down the pipe then, sorry, hit the camera then. As this gets pushed down the pipe, that's looking forward into the pipe, and you can thread it through, and then when you run out of space you just screw another one of these onto the end and carry on. One thing to be aware of if using drain rods is always, if messing around with them, you never unscrew them anti-clockwise, counterclockwise, because if you do that with the thing in the pipe, it can open these joints up and you end up with a pipe, you end up with a drain rod stuck up in the pipe. Obviously less of an issue here because I've got a camera attached at the end, but it's still a risk. So you always, if you're having problems with the drain rod, you always turn them clockwise to try and drive your way into the problem. So let's go check it out. Apologies for it being a little bit dark out here at the moment. I already have done this recording once before, but I discovered when the USB cable for the camera gets caught up in branches and unplugs from the laptop, Quickier will abandon that recording and you will lose the lot. So make sure your lead doesn't get yanked out. I got my jet wash here as well. You don't have to use a jet wash, you could use a hose pipe if you wanted to. And this is just to basically try and clear any mess out of the pipes before you send the camera up. Obviously you can send it through all sorts of mank if you want to, but you can clean it up if you can help it. So I've got the camera on the end of the rods. There it is. Let's clean the end. As you can see, it's running on the laptop. I'll just bring that up full screen just to make it bigger. See, it's a bit gloomy in there now, but up close you can see the camera. The camera's built-in lighting gives plenty of light so you can see what's going on, and this is ideal. Let's say you got a problem like what I've got here is a problem with weeds and tree roots and things which have gone through, and you can't tell normally when you're pushing up a rod whether you've actually reached them or not. And here you can see they're starting to show up there. But with the camera, not only can I see there's a weed problem, I can see whether or not I've managed to catch them with the end of the rod or not. You can see as I'm pulling back there, I haven't caught them. So I can have another go and again try and twist the rods in to see if I can, this time, bring them out. Along with the camera. Nothing much there, but it's a start. You can also see if the end runs into problems such as a pipe joint or a collapsed section of drain. You see what I'm doing now is actually pushing that along. I can try and catch it. And haul it back with the camera. She's now facing, she's now come clean off. This sticky tape I'm using seems to be very biodegradable. It pretty much dissolves when you get water on it. So as you can see, if you've got a set of drain rods and a laptop, and one of these cameras it's a no-brainer really. It makes it so much easier to troubleshoot any problems you've got down the drains as to why it's snagging on the edge of a pipe or figuring out what's causing the blockage. Anyway, I'm going to carry on rodding all this crap, literally all this crap, out of the drain. I'll catch you soon. Thanks for watching. Well, there's the blockage. It should flow a lot more freely now. And well, I couldn't have done that without the camera because I wouldn't have known what I was doing with that, whether I was pushing it further up the pipe, whether I'd caught it, or whether it was even there. Hope someone finds this useful. Thanks for watching.